and this may go a little, sidetrack a little bit, but it still kind of is relevant to what I'm saying here. So as a process engineer, which is my, day-to-day job, I deal with something called CIP, which is cleaning in place. And that's cleaning manufacturing systems without having to break them apart. So literally, like pipes and machines and things like that will automatically clean themselves with different types of solutions and things like that. So one of the things that one of my associates told me at the beginning of my career in that was if you can figure out how to clean it, you can figure out how to run anything. So let's say I'm designing and building a plant of manufacturing system that runs and produces milk. So milk comes from a processing plant. When you run processing plants, you have to, clean the machines that make the milk at some point in time to not collect bacteria. Mm-hmm. So what he's saying and how that relates back is saying if you can figure out how to clean that entire mechanism, because cleaning it is actually the difficult part, and making sure that it's sanitized and ready for a new product. So if you can figure out how to clean it, then you can figure out how to run the product that you need. So getting back to the point of what I'm saying is you got to get to the fundamentals of things and figure out, if you can figure out the hard part, it's just like being in a relationship. The best measure of someone and to know what type of person they really are is to see them in a hard time. Because how they deal with hard times is the person that they really are. Because everybody's going to be good in a good time. Everybody's going to be relaxed and great in a good time. But how you deal with obstacles and tribulation is the measure of the person that you truly are at heart. Mm-hmm. So,
yeah, that was good. That was really good. So we're on to the next letter. It's R. So we have specific, measurable, actionable, and relevant. Relevant is one of those things where you think all goals should be steps towards a goal should be relevant, but sometimes they're not. Going back to my previous example, if your goal is to make 100 free throws in a row, one of the steps towards that goal shouldn't be to be able to drive a car or something like that, because it's not directly relevant to what your goal is. But you'll be surprised how many times people have goals and the steps towards that goal aren't always relevant to what's going on, just because it may not be specifically tied to that goal. There's something else they want to do, and maybe that step should be its own goal and there should be steps towards that one. But one of the steps to being a successful, running a successful business wouldn't be to learn about investing. That should come afterwards. This shouldn't, even those that are kind of related to each other, they're not directly related and they're not directly relevant to the larger task at hand. So you always want to make sure and look at all your steps to the goal and say, are these things relevant to the goal I'm trying to achieve? Or are they just here on this list because I want to do these specific things? And lastly, the last letter, T. So we have specific, measurable, actionable, relevant, and the very last one, probably the most important, is time bound. You need to have an ending date for all your goals. It's just a fact of life. When you set an end goal and you say, I need this done by this day, you will get it done by that day. Just being in college and you have papers that are due the next day at noon, it might take you, if you didn't have that day, it might take you 3 or 4 days to write that paper. But you have 12 hours to write it, you gonna write it in 12 hours.
You're gonna write more pages than you planned on.
Exactly, in 12 hours. So having dates for the end of your projects, for the end of your goals, are very, very, very important. They force you to get things together. I know for us, we have basically 10 days to get all of our stuff together before we go on our business venture. And so we've had forever to do these things. This has been our calendar. We've just been lax. But now that we've had this hard 10 days set, it's going to get done. It's probably going to get done in the next 4 days. And so you need to make sure you have these goals to push yourself and to make yourself stay focused, so you won't be playing Xbox when you should be doing something else. You won't be going to get something to eat when you should be doing something else. You won't just be on Facebook or something when you're trying to do something else. Your time-bound goals make you focus, because now all that time you thought you had is now being audited. Like, should I be doing X, Y, Z? Or should I be wasting this time? And it really makes you take accountability for your time and put you in direct control and say, hey, this needs to be done. I have 3 more days to do it. Now, I can chill right now and rank it out in the last 2 days, or I can do a little bit here, a little bit here, a little bit here, and then be done with it. So it really makes you use your time management skills and puts the pressure on yourself to get things done. So you always want to make sure that whenever you set an end goal, you need to have an end date. So you can say, yes, I achieved this goal, or no, I failed this goal. And that fear of failure, especially like when you let yourself down, oftentimes will be enough to propel you towards reaching your goal before the due date is done. You have anything?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. Here's one way that you might be able to implement that strategy. Tell yourself possibly that at the end of that date, or whatever it is, that you'll reward yourself with a certain thing. And if you don't achieve it, you don't reward yourself. Mm-hmm. Because that can create discipline for sure. And like I said earlier, thoughts become actions, and actions become habitual. And I'll slightly tell on myself a little bit. So I had an assignment to do, and I waited till the last minute to do it, specifically because I knew that if I waited, and I'm not saying be like me, not at all. Don't do this. This is just me personally. This all depends on you as an individual. But I was tired, and I knew I needed to get it done. But I set a time for myself to wake up and get it done, because I knew I would be pressured by the time limit that I had. And I got it done. I shouldn't have done it like that.
So you basically put yourself behind the 8-ball.
I put myself behind, so I had to get it done in the best way possible. So don't do what I'm doing, or did in that case. But definitely do set times for yourself, because it helps you, and, I can't say it enough. Those things become habits, If you can create bad habits, you can create good habits. It's all about, how much focus you have on what you're doing. I set a goal for myself to do at least 10 to 20 push-ups every hour during the day. And, I'm getting better at it. I still haven't done all 24 hours because I'm asleep some of that time. But while I'm at work, I'll sneak away somewhere where nobody's paying attention to me, and I'll do 10 to 20 push-ups. And I set that goal for myself because it's become habit, and I know what the results are. And on top of that, use your imagination to the best results. You utilize your imagination to picture yourself in the best results that are the outcome of that situation, and it'll motivate you intrinsically. And that's what I do all the time. Like, working out can get tiring. People, working out can get very tiring. You can get sore, all that type of stuff. But truthfully, imagine yourself in the best shape you ever been. If you want to be, a super bodybuilder, or if you want to be lean, you want to have that 6-pack, and you want to be tatted up with the veins and all,
with the veins,
with the whatever best shape you want to be in. Imagine, truthfully, paint a picture of yourself in your mind of what you would feel like and what you would look like in that type of body shape, and it'll intrinsically motivate you. Mm-hmm. It'll psychologically motivate you, because there's times when I'm working out and I'm tired of doing one exercise, and then I imagine what my back might look like, what my arms might look like, what my stomach might look like. and I'm like, you know what, I want to get to that because more so those things, and even more nowadays with social media, physical attractiveness can gain you more opportunities, and I mean that's always been that way.
As bad as that sounds, it's always been that way. The most attractive person will get more favor than the unattractive person. Right,
and it's been that way, but even more so with social media being on the forefront of things nowadays, it'll get you that even that much more. Mm-hmm. And that's not what I'm going for specifically. I'm not trying to be Mr. Atlas to get all the attention. But I do know that it helps, and it helps with brain functionality too, mm-hmm. as read in many books. That working out just helps you think. Mm-hmm. So the human body needs an average of 30 minutes of physical activity a day, and 30 minutes is nothing in 24 hours. All you got to do is walk down the block a minute, and that's 30 minutes. Walk down the block and back. Take a walk. Find a clear night in whatever place you're staying in. Go look at the moon. Walk down the block. Get some water. Just walk. Listen to your favorite song on repeat 10 times. Whatever you want to. Whatever methodology you need to do that. But just make sure it gets done. But definitely give yourself a time and make that solidify that, because it keeps you from procrastination, and procrastination is one of the most poisonous things in human life. Saying that I'll do it tomorrow, I'll do it later, I'll do it this and that. You're pushing it off, and the thing about it is when you push it off, it's still going to be there later. And you're not going to want to do it any more later than you want to do it now. So just go ahead and get it done. So
yeah, and just like what Tecumseh was talking about. Saying things and you're starting to intrinsically believe them. Write your goals down. Have like an affirmation notebook. You sound crazy. I started doing this last week or something. So what I do is I just have a regular notebook, and the first top part I write all my affirmations. So if you read them out loud, it sounds crazy. It's like, I will make today a productive day. I will make sure I don't waste my time. I will make sure I study today, and then so forth, so on, whatever. And then under that, I write my 3 macro goals, so like my life goals, and my 3 micro goals. So like so my macro goals are like 30 years, and my micro goals are like in the next 10 years. And then I have my to-do list. And the more and more I write those things out, the more and more I subconsciously achieve them. So I literally make my day a productive day. I'll make this a good opportunity. I will make this a good relationship, just because, 1, it's in the forefront of my mind. 2, I've written it down. And 3, I honestly believe it. I feel like I said 2 twice, but 3, I honestly believe it. And once you're able to legit fake it till you make it, everything becomes so much easier. You stop worrying about other different things, because if you listen to our brain priming episode, I think it's like 2 episodes ago, what you think, if you honestly begin to believe it, your brain will actually make you that particular person. If you constantly look at situations and you say, I can handle this because I am unstoppable, the more and more you believe that, and the more and more you act unstoppably, the more and more your brain will make you unstoppable. You'll start seeing ways when it doesn't look like there's no way. You'll start seeing actions that you can take that you didn't see before. So you constantly want to remind yourself, hey, I can do this. I will make this a good day. These are my goals, and I will achieve them. So just kind of backing all the way up, you have your SMART goals. SMART stands for specific, measurable, actionable, relevant, time-bound. I want you to find 3 goals, apply them with the SMART criteria, write them down. I want you to write them down every day for a week. And I bet you, when you look at that list, if you write it down every day for a week, when you look at with your life based upon those goals in 7 days, I guarantee you've gotten closer to it. Just by 1, taking the time to look at them every day and write them out, and 2, applying the SMART characteristics to it, because you're now able to see Your goal is now specific. You know exactly what you want. Your goal is now measurable. You know how close you are to it. It's actionable, so you know what to do. It's relevant, so it's not wasted. And it's time bound, so you know when your end date is. So I guarantee you, when you look at